Greetings to everyone watching this video right now. I made the following video to clarify some things surrounding my person after a few incidents inside the Rabbit's fandom. Incidents that were somewhat caused by my person, incidents that were not caused by others but I had to intervene in one way or another, or incidents that had been misinterpreted or just straight up fake. This video wants to give information about everything related to my person and the situation that we're going inside the fandom. From the stuff related with the Rabbids movie leak to the conflicts we had inside against Dan Rinto and Sananite. I will clarify a few things. First of all, I left a thread on Twitter in which I indicate a few accounts that you should not report because these accounts had nothing to do with anything that has occurred for the past few weeks and are just there because I interacted with these people. I don't want to see them suffering anything. Secondly, I want to confirm that I am the author of the Rabbids movie leak made by the user that went by the name FunGrocery1535, and that any other account that has the same exact name and or profile pic is absolutely fake, and it's not approved by me in any way. One more thing I want to tell is that I will be open to any questions inside Twitter. My account will always remain open in case I may have forgotten some detail related with these incidents, or just have a question related with what happened, what I did, how I felt at times, and my interactions / relationship with various members inside the fandom. So with that out of the way, I would like to start this story with a few tales of my person.
As all great plan, it all started with a simple idea. I'm an aspiring artist who always wanted to make something great for this world with all of his inventive ideas. And I had come up with multiple great ideas for the past couple of years, like the Walton Hudson Show, the Internauts, and Epiphany of a Minion. And after a spark of genius I had back in August 2020, I came up with the perfect idea for the Rabbids movie and wanted to start writing. The first draft of the film was finished back in December 2020. Although it didn't convince me yet, the core ideas related to the film were there, and at least warranted some concept art, like characters and locations. Now, during the December 2020 and January 2021 period, I was able to recollect the total amount of $400 for personal use after some research managing and a gift from my grandmother. I was even speaking with a very talented artist named Lolo the Paragon on Twitter to make some character designs for the main four rabbits of the film. She knew at least some of the main ideas for the film, and she actually quite liked them. The plan here was to put up the entire project on Kickstarter, make a trailer, show the concept art, give the ideas, and see how people would react to them and, get funding for the project and make it a reality. And that was the intended plan in one beginning, until a few events took place during that period and afterwards, which made the entire organization fall apart. You see, ever since the 23rd of February of 2020, my mother left the house because of her job and had to move to Brazil in order to accomplish all of her work as a chief financial officer who was also in charge of the accreditations at the Brazilian consulate inside the Bolivian embassy in Brazil. She was specifically in Brasilia, for your information. From that day on, my mother left me practically on my own, at least in the house, and left me in charge of the whole house alongside my dog Snoopy and my grandmother who lived in the floor below. It wasn't a difficult way of living since I was able to organize the money I received from her in order to pay the taxes inside the house and manage other costs, as well as organize my time to do the stuff I like, writing, exercise, and play games and stuff. Despite some small complications, things were easily manageable in my home and never had anything to worry about until the elections came in. I really don't want to go on and on about the current social-political situation over here in Bolivia, but in short terms, our government is very corrupt and it gets rid of everyone who doesn't think the same way as them. I really don't want to talk about this since, it's quite a complicated topic. But I will end this paragraph by saying that the current government, more exactly, the party that is currently in charge, has won the elections once more. And this victory led to multiple ceases of services from multiple people who work for the opposing force, being one of them my mother. Because of that, she had to come back to Bolivia in order to reestablish herself after what has occurred. She came back to Bolivia on December 14th, 2020. And despite this very hard situation, I knew that things were gonna get better eventually. I wish that voice was also right. During one of her temporary jobs, where she worked for another political party, she was standing on the truck bed floor of a pickup truck, handing out pamphlets and yelling stuff out loud, that kind of stuff. Unfortunately, she fell off the truck and ended up breaking both her right leg and part of her pelvis, as you may see in the bone scans taken by the traumatologist from the Rainbow Hospital. And just her whole hospital stay was already very expensive for us. Just as a set reminder that $1 here is equal to 6.2085 Bolivians, not 25, I'm sorry. So one might guess how much money did all of it cost. It was so painful just seeing her like that, lying in bed without being able to move, just doing nothing. Of course, I had to take care of her during this situation, alongside some other members of the family, but I wasn't able to sleep some days well, and others I couldn't even pay attention to class. It was a very hard way of living. I had to organize better than ever, but it wasn't very possible, to be honest. Taking aside stuff like taking care of her or not sleeping well, we didn't have much money. Not enough to maintain us three. I'm referring to my mother, my person, and my dog. And also, my dog, Snoopy, was very limited to do anything around the house since, the accident. My mother couldn't really stand him rocking and running around, and she didn't even like how sometimes Snoopy was taking a piss or something and he couldn't even go outside. It was just such a mess. Like, they didn't even want him in the house. I had to give him away. We had to speak with Zoonosis, which is an organization that takes care of pets and animals in general for these kind of situations, mostly pets, dogs and cats. And they helped us find someone who could maintain him. We had to put some specifications, some conditions, since Snoopy was so stressed that he even bit out of a simple touch of his fur. And so, the living conditions were not suitable for him. We had to find someone new. I spoke with a lady who was willing to take him. She was on her own, and that was a good sign. So after speaking with Zoonosis so we can do the paperwork, we gave Snoopy to her. And I wasn't feeling good anymore. I was feeling lonely. On one side, I had my mother who had a fatal accident and was unable to walk for quite some time. And now that my pet is now not with me anymore, he's still alive, but he's not with me anymore. I just wasn't feeling right. So as time went on, stuff was getting pretty expensive for my mother, up to a point where we couldn't even afford some stuff like the bone scans and the medicines that you can see on screen. So I did something that I paid for a wheelchair
Sorry, I'm not. I'm not. I just can't tell the story a lot. So I was depressed. I had these very negative thoughts that I wanted to just end my life. It was complicated for me. I, I had some people I talked to in Twitter, like Rabbit Loris and Professor Barranco 3, and that was fine for me. But then, then something happened with Professor Barranco in which he was depressed. He was completely destroyed. He not only uploaded a video where he expressed his thoughts that he didn't want to make videos for some time, but also he changed his profile pics in both YouTube and Twitter. And I was worried about him. And then it also and and the normal one, the one you're seeing right now, then it changed to the one to this other one, which is basically the thumbnail of the video. And after that one, it changed to a completely dark one. And I was extremely worried that something would happen to him, that he wanted to do something just dangerous, and I had to do something. I spoke with Loris, and he gave me the invitation to the Discord server inside, where Professor Barranco was inside, and I spoke to him just to make him feel better. He explained to me that he had a fight with one friend about their views on Rayman, and that really hurt him a lot, because it's not the first time the Rabbits fandom had trouble with Rayman fans, or just had trouble in general. There were other conflicts in which Professor Barranco 3 and or other Rabbit fans were involved, like the Sparkles Gum drama and the Sonic Fan 67 drama. Now with this one, which was just depressing to see, it made me thinking a lot of things. After some days, I started thinking about my life, and at the same time, I was seeing how Professor Barranco 3 was better in mental health. I came up with this idea and make a fake slash real, however you want to call it, or you want to call it, leak about the Rabbits movie and many other Rabbits related content inside Reddit. And this is how the Rabbits movie leak became to be. It was bold, it was brave, but of course it was unexpected, and a lot of people were actually pretty excited for it.
My plan with this Rabbids movie leak was not only to revive the fandom, which was practically dead at the time, but also to gather up new allies and recognize new talents. Just imagine how big the Rabbids fandom would have been with all these users working together. It would have been amazing. And it ended up being amazing thanks to a number of factors. A few users have looked out on these Rabbids movie leaks and they were excited for it and they shared everything. It was great. It was amazing. I was just so happy that I was bringing people together. Even though they had their thoughts about it, that they say it's probably gonna be fake, but they didn't even mind. They wanted it to be real. One thing that was a key factor in getting people together was not only some of the comments and retweets of people who talked about the leak, but also the Bunny Goddess Challenge, which was a drawing challenge in which we draw a bunny goddess for the rabbits, which was one of the characters for the film, and then name 5 other people to make the same thing. Draw and then name 5 more, and so goes on. It was pretty fun. It didn't really last that long. It wasn't as big as I expected, but it did get some wonderful, and I mean wonderful art by various artists. It's just beautiful. They have so much creativity, so much talent, and they came up with ideas that I never would have thought of, like the small details, like the collar and the white hair and stuff. It was beautiful. It was amazing. yeah, it was such a nice time until stuff went really downhill from there. Don't get me don't Yes, I understand that I do this all the time where I say it was great until it goes downhill, but trust me, there's so many twists and turns in this story that it could be a movie in and of itself. So let's move on to the next part of the story. So, the league was getting a small but steady traction. Many people were excited for it. It didn't even matter to them if it was real or fake. They wanted it to be real. They loved the idea for this possible movie. Rabbids fans were pretty excited for it, even to an extent of making some theories surrounding it, and one user specifically even made a pair of videos talking about it on his channel. His name was Professor Barranco 3, which I already mentioned that he is a good friend of mine. Everything was going fine until they appeared. A series of videos made by the user on YouTube named Sananite started appearing. And these videos were garbage. I mean, they were literally nothing. They were just a black screen with a title that was questionable. But the description of the videos always targeted towards us, the Rabbids fans. They were pretty insulting, and they often wanted us to care ourselves, you could say. They were very mean. They were very mean and quite concerning. At first, we really didn't take much importance to it because it was, how you could say, lame. It was a lame attempt to destroy, again, the Rabbids fandom. It's not even the first time that the Rabbids fandom had seen some controversy, but it wasn't even the first time, so we simply ignored it and just lived on with our lives. We, of course, reported the videos and the channel, but nothing else after that. We thought that it was just nothing. Another user on YouTube that went for the name of Dan Rinto started to make also videos with the same theme, you could say. They only wanted to see us killed, and they insulted us in many ways. The main targets of this were Pink, Professor Barranco 3, and my person. They had all these kinds of insults and mean words, and also a few, you could say, questionable things. Like, for example, how they mentioned that they have the address of one of us, and this resulted to be actually true. Also, that they wouldn't stop until they saw every single one of us dead. This was getting quite concerning. Not only this, but they also made fake claims that they made the Rabbids movie leak and it was all just a big joke. Which, to be honest, it was pretty stupid. Like, not only because of the fact that I was responsible for it, and seeing how they claim my work is something not only bad but also stupid, because I've seen some of the comments they made related to the leak, and they say, and then they're just pretty stupid. Like, they just said it out of thin air. Like, they didn't even have a plan, and you can see it on screen. How can you just make up this kind of things and just say, hey guys, I know I'm making the Rabbids movie leak, and you are telling it to everyone, please shut up, this is supposed to be a joke. Like, how are you supposed to put that on the comment section for everyone to watch? It's like saying that you're gonna rob a bank and you tell the police to shut up about it. Okay, I'm gonna calm down. Sure, of course I didn't want to stay just down and do nothing. I had to report the accounts, and I asked all of my followers back then to report the accounts as well, showing proof of the actual messages that they have been threatening us for the past few weeks. Even to a degree that some people wanted to leave the Rabbids fandom, or even eliminate some videos related with the film. As I mentioned, Professor Barranco 3 made the videos related to the Rabbids movie, and he had to delete them completely because they were attracting these people. Jawai didn't want to form part of Rabbids anymore. She felt so scared about it, and she just left. She just wanted to leave and just couldn't handle it anymore. And man, it was a complicated situation. So I had to speak about it. I made a post inside the community I created for the Rabbids movie leak, in which I indicated how these users have been claiming my work and they have been threatening many members of the Rabbids fandom, including giving a list of the people who have been doing all this, of course. And despite all that, it really didn't work. All these threats were actually causing a lot of harm to the community, so I had to make a few moves. The first one was that I was kind of in a conversation with Sunanite in which I acted out like I'm some sort of rabbit hater in disguise, and that I wanted to make a video about attacking the Rabbids fandom. I prepared it and wanted to get his email just to have a better conversation with him and to know specifically every single one of its attacks. And not only that, but also get actual proof of the stuff they're saying in case something happens, instead of just living off the comment section. Because even a few pictures or just a list of stuff could have been enough to at least warrant a video about it and inform everyone about it. It didn't work at all. They basically discovered it right away, but to an extent, San and I was actually a moron. He almost fell for it, and I even had this Rayman and Rabbit profile pic. I can't believe he almost fell for it. Oh my god. The second thing I did was proclaim myself as the president of the Rabbids fandom. I know this is quite egotistical, egocentric, whatever you want to call it. I don't consider myself as the president of anything, not even of the Rabbids fandom, but I made a tweet regarding that I was the leader of the fandom, so Sunanite and Dan Rinto and all their team could attack me instead of them. It's like a situation where if you're gonna get through them, you're gonna go past me first. That kind of stuff. This would have worked if somebody didn't make a move before what I did. And the one responsible for that move was Pink. Pink had a conversation with Dan Rinto inside the video Airhead Andrew, where they basically make the people know that we are just egotistical pieces of garbage and stuff like that. And they use my tweet. So they just show my tweet in the video, but the description is completely different, and they give details on everything they thought about this and the fandom in general. Back to the point. So Pink had a conversation with Dan Rinto, and where they had a deal in which by the way, Pink uses all kinds of pronouns to identify as himself, herself, themselves. So I'm just gonna use he for now. I asked him, it's fine for him. So he was gonna turn into a sacrifice, basically. I'm not even exaggerated. That's what it said on the comments section, and what Dan Rinto considered a sacrifice, just so that they could leave the fandom alone. And that's what happened. Dan Rinto and Sun and I talked privately with Pink, and Pink had to do a few things that were very, very dangerous. The things listed here on this post, you could say, probably it's from Discord, but it was sent personally to us by Pink, was quite dangerous. The first thing that Sunanite and Dan Rinto asked was for Pink to carve Artemis into his arm with a knife. And then he had to make a video call of him biting his fleshly cut arm as hard as it could so it could permanently scar. And also that they were gonna watch a movie in their Discord, and every time something that wasn't funny, Sunny was gonna say something dark about himself, or about him, or Pink, I mean. And so they can, ruin their reputation. Sorry, this is just so delicate for me. I'm sorry if I stop this. I'm sorry. So all these things left Pink so scarred that I wouldn't think that he would come back again to the fandom. He wouldn't kill himself, but I wouldn't believe he's gonna come back to the fandom. He just came back to tell us that he had to do all that. And he even commented us that about how he was feeling a bit, that we shouldn't worry, everything's gonna be fine. I just wanted it to stop, and it stopped. Like, we basically had to witness and just stay there, seeing as one of our friends was just emotionally and physically harmed, and we just couldn't do a thing. But it stopped. It freaking stopped. And I was angry that day. I was very angry. I said something that I should have not. I basically told and went to Sunday night that I wish a pedophile could rape them because I wasn't going to stand it. I apologized immediately because I said what I know what I said was pretty messed up. I'll admit. But can you really blame me? Like, I've just seen how my friend has been so harmed, how the community was harmed, and how they were claiming my work that despite it was all a lie, it was never made under the intention of harming people on purpose. And you want me to just stand there and not say anything? Look, I'm sorry about this. I'm really sorry. What happened afterwards is that I spoke with Pink privately. I had to tell him the truth about the leak. I just didn't want to live knowing that Pink thought that this film was made out of pure spite, because it wasn't. It was made out of pure passion, out of pure hope, you could say, just to help out the community. And I didn't want Pink to think of that anymore. I wanted him to just be in peace. And yeah, he knew about this since then, and he wasn't devastated. He wasn't that affected, I guess, because he was already with the stuff on his mind that he had to do all those things to just help out the fandom. He even says that he could do it again, but I just don't want him to do that again. I had to do something. I really had to do something, and I was just running out of options. No matter how many tweets, how many posts I had to make, telling them that not only the film was not made by them, but also about how these people have been affecting us. I got myself into other trouble just trying to help people, and one of them started with a user named Princess Love Brite. Before you accuse me of being a big scumbag because of the sole reason of using NFTs, there's quite a curious story behind it. Let me explain. Princess Love Brite is an artist on Twitter and DeviantArt who has been and was stalking Jawire for quite a few months. She was feeling quite insecure since she had constant breakouts and even had to change her account up to one point. Of course, I wasn't going to let this happen, so I did the most sane thing to do when this kind of situation happens. Report the accounts. Wait, you were expecting me to say that I just turned some of her art into NFTs just because of that? No. I took the obvious route first. I reported both her Twitter account and her DeviantArt account, saying that her accounts are expressing hatred towards a group of people. I think that was true, thanks to tweets of many people who have mentioned how Bright was both a manipulator and a racist. The thing went on for quite some time, and Jawai's mental state was just getting worse. I came up with the idea of writing a specific post of the leak the day she was sad and basically act out like it was a sign from the heavens or something like that. Just as a reminder that the leak plan had a basically weekly basis in which I informed staff about the Rabbits movie, Rabbits in general, once a week. So basically I moved the day for the post just to keep her calm. Sure, this wasn't a solution to the problem, but at least it will keep her happy and focused on something else while I try to figure out on an actual solution. I also made a quoted tweet about how Jawai mentions the homophobic and transphobic comments Bright did inside the Discord server, and that all of my followers should report her. After witnessing how none of these reports were actually making any changes, as well as seeing how Jawai's mental state was just getting worse, I had to do something drastic. It was a lie, but it was something I still regret of even thinking. I said that I have transformed some of Brite art into NFTs, and that actually scared Jawai, and that didn't have the result I expected. I expected her to tell Brite that my friend is here is going to turn your art into NFTs if you don't stop doing what you're doing, kind of thing. But I mean, I gotta admit that it was stupid. I'm just glad that it got to nothing. I'm just really glad it got to nothing. And the sole idea of attempting this is stupid on its own. And even if I had a Bitcoin in my house, I wouldn't do NFTs at all. Seriously, I apologize for that. That was just reckless and stupid. I'm just glad it got to nowhere and had not caused any damage to the environment, at least. I said that I asked somebody else to do it, but in the end, nothing. Yeah. In the end, I guess everything stopped since Jawai made this 81-page long document about everything Brite has done to her and her friends. So, yeah, I think it was a happy ending after all, and I think I should have not intervened apart from that. I don't know, sincerely. From the looks of it, the Twitter page of Brite is still up, so yeah. I'm gonna leave a link, so don't worry. One thing I have been accused of was basically suicide baiting Pink. This here is absolutely fake. This is mostly based on a misinterpretation of a conversation I had with Pink back in the Discord. I mentioned already how I had some very deep and depressing thoughts about my life and how I felt about the leak. The leak for me back in the day was a reason of hope for me and for everyone who read it. And I often felt how it was the only thing I had to keep me going. So, yeah. After Pink revealed the truth to both the Rabbit server and also the Rayman Together page, I wasn't baffled. I was just fine with it since it was bound to happen considering everything that has been going on for the last few weeks. I wasn't and I am not angry towards him for telling everyone about the leaks, the truth about the leaks. Yeah. So yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Even Pink admitted how the Rabbit server just misinterpreted all of my words and got angry to me for it. It's not even the first time it happened since even Pink sent me this one conversation I had with Barranco in which I mentioned that he was the next target. He was next and the Pink was done for, I was out of the game. And this comment was basically telling that Pink killed himself. In reality, it wasn't. The conversation and that posting question was to tell how Barranco was going to be the next target of Dan Rinto if he ever comes back, knowing the psychological and physical damage he already has caused to Pink, and how I wasn't going to be part of this anymore, since I really had nothing else to do. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. Moving on. Okay, so this is the part where things get a bit stupid. There was this one time in the Discord server where Jawai mentioned that apparently Brite was in an online relationship with an older guy. Although this was worrisome, I acted quite neutral and indifferent towards it and simply acted like I really didn't care. The reasons of why I acted towards like that are actually quite understandable up to a certain degree. You see, unlike the situation with Brite about her LGBTQ phobic and harassment situation, Jawai didn't show, and up to this point hasn't shown any sort of proof of the existence of this relationship Brite had with this older person. Even when she announced it on our Discord server. She just said it out of thin air. Apparently she had a conversation with one of her friends, and And apparently she knew about this, but she didn't even show us that. So yeah, I wasn't gonna go directly to cancel or just report someone who you didn't even mention, and I wasn't going to jump into conclusions. Another reason of why I act towards this situation like that is because of my definition of common sense, which is often questionable at times. I mean, why should I worry about the security of a person who has only given me or my friends and relatives trouble? I mentioned all of what Brite has done to Jawai and her friends in the past early in the video, so therefore, why should I worry about her? It doesn't seem her attitude is going to change anytime soon, and by the testimonies of a few people, her attitude hasn't really changed. That was very disrespectful coming from me. I admitted what I said, and the way I acted gave the idea that I approve this kind of relationship of, between a little girl and an older man or woman, and or that I really want to see her abused after what she has done. But then again, I didn't really know how to react because there was nothing. From all the accusations and allegations they have made towards my person of the last couple of weeks, this one is the most ridiculous and baseless. So, how did this occur? It was made because of a comment I made on one of Jawai's posts, in which you can see on screen, in which I indicated that her art is beautiful and that she is hot, and it was to make her blush. That was the dynamic of the meme. It wasn't just a random thing I posted directly on a direct message or just a targeted tweet towards her. It was just following along the way. Just follow the meme. I do that all the time with these dynamics and do nothing else. Yes, that's all of the story. And this one is, as I've said, ridiculous. I have a number of reasons of why this is such a baseless accusation. First of all, I consider myself asexual and also aromantic, since I've never had any sort of relationship. I never had a couple. Man, woman, non-binary person, I never had one. Second, I never had any sort of romantic feelings towards Jawai. Third, I consider this ironic since I've always reported and basically canceled many actual pedophilic accounts for the last couple of months. Here's a quick example. There is an account on Twitter that goes by the name of Quema Amada, please Spanish speakers don't laugh, in which this person posts all sorts of hentai pics, and some of them include Loli archetype character. If you know what I mean, characters that have this underage complex in anime and stuff. Yeah. I commented on two quoted tweets made by ZKR Funes and Dinner Titore, in which I commented on the situation and how messed up was the situation in an honest and kind of ironic / funny way. Still, after seeing the lack of actual good defense of this, posts, because he literally doesn't care about what he posts. He just does it. He even knows that they're going to try to cancel him, but that's just going to get him more attention, and of course he's going to just keep doing what he's doing. And also because there is how do you call it, any good reason for him to post that, I reported the accounts. Yes, I said accounts because he has the main one and then he also has a temporary one. Yes. I would also like to add that I don't speak in a sexual manner with any accounts around here because precisely I don't want to make anyone uncomfortable. And also I really don't like talking about, sex in that way. So I simply don't do it. Out of all the allegations, this one disappoints me the most because it was just made out of pure spite up to this point. In fact, Professor Barranco 3 just unblocked me just to report this, just to tell me, Andrew, you have an explanation to do. And obviously other people came in on the train of canceling me, and and now I'm here. I wasn't even bothering them at that point. As I got kicked out of the server and many people were angry towards me, I was out. I was out of everything. I didn't even want to talk about rabbits on Twitter, and I just stayed quiet. I didn't even talk to any of them apart from Pink, which you may know he was the one who told the truth, and I had somewhat of a good relationship with him. We spoke a lot, even despite everything that has occurred, because he knows that despite the things I've said that were pretty messed up and the things I did, mostly related with the leaks, he knows that I was capable of demonstrating the truth to everyone. When I got kicked out of the server and everyone was angry towards me, I unfollowed every single account related with rabbits. Tarot on Fire, Rust9K, Rabbits Out of Context, you name it, I unsubscribed to all of them. And I never even trash talked to them after what happened, because, that's just gonna prove to them that I'm a toxic person, and why should I do that? I effectively messed up. I did stuff wrong, and people were angry towards me for it. I had to learn my lesson one way or another, and that was the correct way. Just staying quiet, learn your lesson, and then see what you can do. I would like to end this video on a good note.
After all the video, I would like to see if you could understand what has been going on with my person for the last couple of months. I know it's a very complicated topic, and I know I did some things, many things wrong, but I don't want to do them anymore. I'm just glad that everything related with the Rinto and Bride ended up in peace, and the damage is already done by them, by me, and by others in the fandom. It was There were occasions where it was absolutely my fault, and others where it was just bad timing, and others just a case of bad luck. And I feel sorry for trying to help in kind of wrong ways and saying some stuff that I'm not proud of at all. I learned my lesson the hard way. I don't want to repeat any of these mistakes anymore, because I know the consequences of them now. I thank you all for coming to watch this video and take your time to know the context of all the story behind the Rabbits movie leak. I guess I'll see you around.